Good morning, this is Miss Cannon, and we are going to talk about imperialism today. What you need to understand before you get started is that above the word imperialism in your notes, you need to write the word empire. Imperialism is going to be when mother nations or superpower nations are going to extend their policies that extend their power and their domination over another country or territory. Okay? So remember that your teacher has already talked to you about the word country or territory and how it's dealing with the land mass or the geography. Imperialism is not going to take into regard nationalism or the state aspect. So they don't care about the political unit that may be established in the country or territory. They do not care about the nation or culture that is established. I'll give you two examples before we go any further into the notes. And you would probably want to add these examples on the side of your paper. Pick one of them and you can abbreviate or write it. Put a star on the left side of your paper and write one of these examples near the words imperialism. The first example is when the U.S. annexed Hawaii to use as a fueling station in the South Pacific, excuse me. The United States needs Hawaii as an area to help fuel their ships when they're out in the Pacific Ocean. And so they decide and use their power because they are stronger than Hawaii to make them allow them to refuel. The British are going to take over parts of India and of Asia to control the tea trade. What you need to understand is that the bigger nations that have an investment or a need or greed will take over other countries that can feed into that need or greed. Natural resources, if another country has it, a larger country will take it over to use those natural resources for their own nation. So this is imperialism in the modern world in 1900. If you take a look at the map, you can see like the gray is the United States. Many of the European nations that were stronger took up many areas of Africa. If you look at Africa, most of the countries in Africa are either a European color, um, and they could possibly have some of the United States over there. But for the most part, Europe starts taking Africa and dividing it like a pizza pie, if you can look and see. France, Spain, Britain, okay? India, see how India is the same color as Britain. Britain's got taken over Egypt, South Africa, okay? If you look over here in Asia, it occurs as well. Here are the colonial empires by 1914. What are you noticing here? With Africa, they're still continue to be completely taken over by other countries. And the reason that Africa is going to have that issue is because they have bountiful resources, many natural and raw materials there, and many people are going to want to take advantage of that. Now, what will set the stage for imperialism? What will set it up to start occurring? It's very similar to exploration. New technology, gunboats, rifles, machine guns, exploding shells. Many of the European nations, as well as the United States later, will have better technology than other countries. They've advanced their technology, and when you're more advanced than somebody else, you can take them over and extend your power over them. So I would like for you to, on your handout, explain, make sure you write down the new technologies, but explain why the new technologies give people an advantage. So put a star on your notes and explain to me why technology gives someone an advantage over another person or another society. Why does a country have a better advantage over another country? Because of technology. We're going to talk about the British in India. What you need to understand is that the British East India Company, which is a trading company during this time, they've been by the 1800s, they've been around for a very, very long time. They've been since exploration. They are a trading company. They monopolize the spice trade and the tea trade, which are very popular still during this time. And they will control trade between Great Britain, India, and Southeast Asia. They would predominantly be in India during this time. They come into India, and what they attempt to do, and they're very successful with it, is that they take the smaller little Indian territories. Still, remember that they are still Indian, but remember that states deal with the political units, and they were smaller political units inside of India. They're still, the country is their territory of India. Their nation is that they are Indians, and that is their culture. What Britain will do is deal with these state rulers inside of India, these little state rulers, and Britain will constantly keep them fighting or in chaos. And what will happen is the British East India Company, the BEITC, then brought in armies to capture India in the name of restoring chaos. What you need to understand is that these British individuals figure out that if they get the leaders in India to fight, what does that cause? Write down on your paper what that could possibly cause. Put a star and write what it could cause. It will cause weakness. If those leaders can't agree, it'll cause weakness. And so then the British use that chaos that they have caused. Chaos means craziness, issues, fighting, segregation, conflict. They'll use that chaos to say that they're going to restore order and help India get it together, when ultimately Britain caused their strife. Now, there will be a couple changes. The changes in India, there will be a new education system, which will be based off of the British education. They will force the Indians in India to learn English language. Okay? They banned some of the Hindu practices. If you remember correctly, Hinduism as well as Buddhism started in India. So if you start banning their Hindu practices, you are banning their religion. Religion goes with culture. On your paper, next to this statement where they banned certain Hindu practices, I would like for you to write religion equals culture. Religion equals culture, right next to banned certain Hindu practices. And I would like for you to also realize that they invited Christian missionaries. This is very similar to exploration. They decide that, okay, we'll let you practice some of your religion, but we're going to bring Christian missionaries in here to make you eventually convert to Christianity. And I would like for you to answer the question, why would all of these new reforms, remember that reform means change, lead to conflict between the Indians and the British? You explain it. Explain it on your paper right now. Okay, write this question and explain why all of these changes and the British being involved in India would cause conflict.